Well, it remains very hot outside, and I know a lot of people during the summer travel in and out of New Jersey, and this was one of the reasons why we put an office in New Jersey specifically to represent individuals who have been charged with crimes who come here out of state. Normally it's Pennsylvania or New York. With that said, a very common offense that we deal with specifically in the summer months is drunk driving. Obviously, people are driving and sometimes drinking at parties or other events, and things happen. So with regards to drunk driving in New Jersey, it's very important to understand that New Jersey and Pennsylvania have similar drunk driving statutes, but in a lot of ways they are different. Now, New Jersey recently has implemented an ignition interlock, which will it's a way of allowing people to drive who've been convicted of drunk driving. New Jersey never had that, and around August of last year, they implemented that part of the drunk driving statute, which now allows ignition interlock. Regardless, though, it's important to understand that, like Pennsylvania, you don't have the right to refuse a chemical test in New Jersey. If you refuse that test, it's a separate charge in and of itself, and you will face the maximum punishment under the law for the refusal. So for a first-time offender, it's a 7-month license suspension. For a second-time offender, it's a 2-year license suspension. And for a third-time offender, it is a 10-year license suspension. Now, Pennsylvania, unlike New Jersey, doesn't have license suspensions that are quite that harsh. In Pennsylvania, the max suspension is 18 months, but New Jersey, for repeat offenders, it really hits them hard. In addition, if you refuse a chemical test in New Jersey, they will likely report it to Pennsylvania. So if you come to New Jersey with an out-of-state license like Pennsylvania, New Jersey will report it to Pennsylvania, and there's a strong possibility that Pennsylvania will suspend your license. I can almost guarantee it. There has been recent case law in Pennsylvania which talks about refusing chemical tests, specifically blood tests, but that usually won't apply in New Jersey, because in New Jersey, what we are dealing with normally is the alco test or a breathalyzer test, and the Supreme Court decision, which deals with the admissibility of blood tests and consent, that really has nothing to do with New Jersey, because again, it's a breathalyzer test, and in that decision, in the Birchfield v. North Dakota decision, they specifically mention breathalyzer tests, and the constitutional principles that they discuss in that case don't apply to breathalyzers, because the intrusion of taking someone's breath sample is a lot less than sticking a needle in a person's arm and taking a blood sample. So there's an important distinction there. In New Jersey, in addition to refusals, if you're charged in New Jersey with a first-time offense and your BAC is less than 0.10, the minimum license suspension is 3 months. If it's over that amount, it is 7 months. But you can obtain an ignition interlock, which can allow you to drive. That, again, is a new in New Jersey. Pennsylvania has created a similar program. I'm going to link in some articles with regards to New Jersey and Pennsylvania drunk driving. Finally, if you're traveling in the state and you're stopped for suspicion of DUI, simply be cooperative with the officer in the sense that give him or her your license, your insurance, and your proof of registration, and that's it. You're not obligated to answer the officer's questions. The only exception is if he or she asks you to take a chemical test, you take the test. You have a right to refuse a field sobriety test. Just understand that, like a refusal of a chemical test, the prosecution will more than likely use that refusal of a field sobriety test to convict you. It is circumstantial evidence. They can argue the consciousness or inference of guilt from that refusal. But if you're going to do that, simply tell the officer, for instance, if you have some type of physical limitation, that I have a problem that prevents me from balancing, and that's the reason why I don't want to take the test. So if you have questions about drunk driving in New Jersey, our website, gambonelaw.com, it's a tremendous resource for families. There's a lot of information. There are my blogs, my videos, my podcast. In addition, I'm going to link in my some articles. Again, our phone number in New Jersey 856-793-7429. In Pennsylvania, 215-755-9000. Both numbers are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you are driving, be safe regardless of where you're traveling. If you're traveling with kids, obviously never, ever, ever leave your child in the car unattended, specifically and especially during the summer months. It's very, very dangerous. In addition to the illegality of it, we don't want to have, obviously, a tragedy. So hopefully you're all doing well, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.